The following is a presentation of TFNN. Time to talk about your health. Living a primal lifestyle.
We have Mike from Chicago on the line, and he has a question about digestion.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, guys. Happy Friday.
Happy Friday.
First of all, I just wanted to say that I love the show. I think it's great programming, and I'm very much of a like mind when it comes to, taking control of your own health and certainly doing your own research.
Oh, that's so great. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now your hosts, Nico De Haan and Paige Clarke.
Welcome to the program, folks. It's Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle.
Hello,
the number,
everybody.
Yeah, hi, everybody. Happy Friday, by the way, and it's 877-927-6648 is the number. If you have any questions or comments or any subjects that you want us to talk about, we're open.
That's what we're here for. We love it when you get your feedback.
Although, we have a lot to talk about today.
Yeah, we do.
First thing, I want to remind you to please pick up my Health Signals newsletter, because if you want information about your health, you're going to find it there. And there's a whole bunch of stuff we went over last week that's in there. And if you want to do some research, then there's a lot of links and everything that you can find, right?
It's so powerful.
Yeah. I had this operation, now it's been 8 weeks on my thumb. And one of the things that happens is when you're under anesthesia, the general anesthesia, is there's a process that takes place because your rhythm of breathing is very shallow, and the breaths become spaced out a lot more than your regular breathing. And there are these capillaries in your lungs that are like small little balloons at the end of those capillaries, and those fill up with oxygen or air. And that's what keeps the whole breathing cycle going. And what happens while you're under anesthesia is these actually collapse, kind of like a small balloon. And they're kind of like a wet balloon, so they're kind of sticky. So they're very reluctant to open up. So if you're going to do an active sport like I do of jiu-jitsu, all of a sudden you don't have air. I was finding myself fighting for 4 minutes. And usually I can go 6 minutes. I can do 2 or 3 routines. And after 4 minutes,
you were exhausted.
It just end.
Yeah, I don't think people understand how important that is after surgery to realize that impact, and that they need to spend some time doing some little rehabilitation. But we could take this a step farther and say this really applies to many people who have led a sedentary lifestyle or engage in shallow breathing and non-activity. They have the same issue and maybe may experience problems when they try and become active.
That's very true. And this method here actually goes through and explains that whole thing. And I'm going to actually put this in my newsletter, so we're not going to spend a lot of time on it. But there are breathing exercises that you do, and you breathe in and hold and then expel out kind of real forcefully. And after you do about 10 of those, then there's this whole coughing regime where you hold your breath with the full lungs, and then you cough it out to get these things to move. And actually the doctors or the anesthesiologists or the people who are advising you should really be telling you this stuff. And in hospitals, I find most hospitals are pretty good at this. In fact, they'll give you a device to help you. But in the clinics and these outpatient things, those things don't seem to be happening, and it certainly didn't happen with me. And, here I am going to jiu-jitsu, and I'm hitting this wall, and all of a sudden it dawned on me, oh, yeah.
Right.
So I went back and dug up
So how
the
long
article.
have you been doing these rehabilitation
I started
exercises?
these about a week and a half ago. And
Right, so it's quite a while after, but it's okay. You're still going to...
Yeah. In fact, people who've had surgery on their lungs or their heart or their breasts or whatever will have a lot of pain maybe while the breathing, but the breathing is still important. So you can use things like pillows to help, the impact.
A lot of times, the coughing will actually create pain, and putting a pillow can help ease the pain. But we want you to understand that this coughing and this breathing is very important, and it really hits on a point. Deep breathing exercises can help you relax and help you relieve pain in general. And we're going to talk a lot more. Nico and I are very committed to breathing. As my yoga teacher taught me, and she always says, actually my yoga teacher is Allie Ford, and she's got some interesting stuff.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Yes,
and of course Tom goes to her, and
she was my teacher.
Great presence here,
And she used to always say to people,
I should get her on the show.
I'd love to have her on the show.
Yeah.
She'd love that too. She would say, you're having a perfect yoga practice if you're breathing. And how nice is that? I say, because so many people are afraid if they're going to a yoga class or something that they're not doing it right. It's not about doing it right. It's about breath with movement.
Yeah.
It's not movement with breath, it's breath with movement.
Well, not only that, it's the whole thing starts out, it's not that easy. And as you go through it and start learning how your body responds,
breathe.
it'll do it.
And you know, just the other point I want to say is, you know, another one of my favorites that I've talked to you all about is Dr. Mark Circus. He's one of my mentors, and you know, he's doing some research, and I think Nico and I are going to do a program on breathing exercises for overall health and losing weight. People just have no clue about how much of our lung capacity we're not using. And this is one of the reasons that as personal trainers we explain to you that we're very interested in follow the philosophy of the interval training, challenging the lung capacity, because folks, if you are approaching our age, if you're 50 plus and you haven't created lung capacity, it becomes increasingly more difficult to do. So, and it's so easy to do. So watch for more coming on that.
Yeah, we'll probably make some videos. I've also got some stretching videos that I've been recording, so
Put
all
that
that
together.
is put together. The other thing that's happened, of course, is because I'm thinking along these whole lines of cleansing my body after the surgery, getting back into top form, is doing a cleanse. And I've used this product before. It's called Floor Essence Tea. You can find that at floressencetea.com, and it's a real gentle detox, which I really like, because I'm not that fond of headaches and eliminating when I don't want to be eliminating and things like that. So
but
tea,
detoxing the anesthesia is important, and there's certain herbs and substances that help better, but it's a great place to start with this gentle detox.
In fact, fluorescence has really been in the news because of the helping detox after chemotherapy and those types of things. But it's really, really simple. You can buy it really as a tea in a jar, and then you take 2 ounces, mix it with 2 ounces of water. Or you can buy the dry and then make your own. It's a little bit extensive. It takes almost a full day to make it. But a very, very effective cleanse, very gentle. So I recommend people doing that too.
Yes, and as you know, I have a lot of products that I use for full cleansing, and the key thing is that we need to cleanse.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I don't know how, sometimes when you mention cleansing, people look at you like you have horns on your head. Oh, I'm doing a cleanse. Oh, he's a weirdo or something, or she's a weirdo. But, you know, in Ayurvedic sciences, you know, we cleanse and we eat with the seasons, and we eat the foods that are seasonal, and we cleanse seasonally. We follow nature, and I think that
would be the automatic way of doing it.
You know,
if you're living primal.
I mean, don't you clean your house? Don't you clean your car? You change your oil, you change the hoses and stuff. Parts actually get a little gunked up, and that's the same way with our body, folks, and it's a natural thing. So, you know, this is a great place to start, the fluorescence tea. If you want to get into more detailed cleansing, I'll be glad to help you. That's kind of my specialty, is detoxification and rejuvenation, and that's how, you know, cleanse it. You know, rejuvenation is an inside job, and the way we cleanse ourselves and we rejuvenate and we is to remove the stressors that are happening inside our body, and cleansing is a big part of that.
Yeah, you know, I was doing a little research on vegetables and herbs. And because I always confusing, okay, what's an herb and what's a vegetable, and how did this whole thing come about? And herbs are really the leaves of the plants. And when you think about it, the leaves of the plants are the easiest to digest. So that's medicinal. And if you know about animals, they're going to be eating that fresh green sprouts that come up. They're not after that other stuff. They'll eat it if they have to. But if there's a green pasture out there with the green stuff, they're after that. And they're eating only that. And I think, you know, my philosophy is getting more and more along the lines that the herb of the plant is much more beneficial than the stock, where all that fiber, hard to digest cellulite is. And of course the roots are real important, because when we're talking about the cleanse, if you look at the bottle of Flow Essence, all roots.
Well, you know, let's take that a step. You know, I've often heard vegetables are food and herbs are medicine, and there's a crossover there, you know, but you know, in different herbal, it's not just the leaves. There are certain herbs that is the root. The same with essential oils. I mean, we talk about building, in aromatherapy, we talk about building the perfect plant, building the perfect body. You know, the leaves represent the circulatory system, the lungs, and the breathing of the plant. You know, when we build an aromatherapy formula, many times we build the plant. We might add a essence that's the flower of the plant. Another ingredient in the oil might be that comes from the stems. Geranium oil is actually, which is very good for lymphatic drainage and skin anti-aging, and I use it in my little secret formulas. Comes from the stem. You ever touch a geranium flower and you rub your fingers on the stems? That's where you get the essential
but
oil.
The point is, if you're eating stems, it's very little that you need.
Oh, yeah. I mean, maybe I'm getting off your thing, but
no,
it made me think of the whole thing. I mean, for example, certain resins, frankincense, actually comes from the root. So, a resin part or lower in the ground. Palmarosa is a grass. So. In reality, the herbs are medicine. And
well, one of the things I learned too is that the vegetable, as it is today, the word vegetable was used much differently until about 1850. It's kind of what we're eating now is vegetables. But before that, it was really anything that was alive that you eat.
Right. And so maybe when we go more to Paleolithic or ancestral situation of the hunter-gatherer, there were no vegetables, because it wasn't agriculture. It was all wild plants. So
you were really careful about what you were eating.
Yeah, you were
really
careful.
Had to have knowledge.
You had to have knowledge, and over time you began to understand, of this particular species I can eat a lot, but this I can only eat a few,
right.
And we determined that the medicinal value. I don't really like that word medicinal value, because people think of medicine, but food is medicine.
Most of the drugs really come from plants, don't they?
I think we have to describe it as natural medicine, food medicine, or pharmaceutical medicine.
Yeah.
So medicine is not just allocated just to mean pharmaceuticals. It can mean any healing substance that's...
I agree. I agree 100%.
Maybe it's a good time kind of to continue. We were talking a little bit about cleansing, and I thought I'd maybe teach people about some of the...
Yeah, because cleansing is such an important thing, and one of the major things you think about is the liver, right?
Right. The liver is our largest organ. The neat thing about the liver is it is an organ that we can regenerate. It's essential for so many things. We conjugate our hormones there, but one of its most important functions is to support weight loss and help us to detoxify the millions of poisons that we are exposed to from our food, from the environment.
And those poisons are situated usually in the fat cells, right?
Exactly, and that's my whole point. Many times, remember, I think we made that comment that sometimes your fat, if you're overweight, your fat may be saving your life.
Because it's locked up.
And that's because the body is so brilliant in that it doesn't want your organs being burdened with these toxic substances or to create problems. I always use the example for women, the body says, hey, the liver says, I can't deal with that toxin. I'm going to slap it on our hips in a few fat cells and we'll come back to it later. Sometimes.
The belly for me, the hips for you, right?
Exactly, yeah. So without the liver, we don't get our bile. So, hey, when we come back, let's just finish up on this, because I want to give people some ideas of some different herbs and foods that help support the liver. You add these liver lovers to your body.
That's where we'll start. That's for sure. And meanwhile, pick up my Health Signals newsletter, and the number here is 877-927-6648. Give Paige and Nico a call, will you? We'll be right back.
You've heard Nico De Haan as co-host of Living a Primal Lifestyle, which airs every Friday at noon Eastern Time on TFNN, and would like to tell you about the personal training studio that Nico is the owner and president of, Performance Training. Since 1998, Nico has trained individuals and groups to improve their health both mentally and physically. As a certified personal trainer, Nico's main focus is on demonstrating exercises correctly to avoid injury and teaching his clients how to manage their past injuries while getting the most out of their personal training sessions. The Performance Training Studio is filled with unique training equipment that enhances balanced results at a faster rate while minimizing damage and discomfort. For more information, you can give Nico a call at 727-418-8740 or email him at nico@tfnn.com. Let him know you heard him on TFNN and save up to $100 on a special package just for TFNN listeners. Act today. You take a hands-on approach to managing your investment strategy. You're always looking for the next trading opportunity to magnify your perspective. Direction Shares connects sophisticated traders with a powerful array of ETFs from a wide range of asset classes. The markets may go up and down, and you want tools for both sides of the trade. Discover how we can help at DirectionShares.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction Shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction Shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction Shares at 800-851-0511. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors employing dynamic strategies. Investors in the fund should understand the consequences of seeking daily investment results, understand the risk of shorting, and intend to actively monitor and manage their investments. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Nowhere, spelled N-O-W-H-E-R-E. At one point, we've all been there, whether it be our health, career, or our finances. Some might be there right now. So where are you when it comes to your trading and investing? Better yet, where would you like to be? The good news, I can take you from nowhere to now here right now. Same letters, N-O-W-H-E-R-E, just a totally different emphasis and focus. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN, and on July 25th at 6:30 p.m., I'm going to share with you a trading strategy that I began on May 10th when the S&P was at 1627 and closed at the same price 8 weeks later. That's right, the S&P went nowhere versus a trading strategy that produced a 100% hypothetical return in that same period of time, and it's now here for you. Subscribers to my daily newsletter service, Mastering Probability, have free access to this exciting live workshop. The trend is your friend. All the details are on the homepage of TFNN.com. Decisions shape your destiny, and your trading destiny is now here for you.
Who says you can't take it with you? TFNN says you can. With your mobile device and TFNN's live radio streams, TFNN has put it all in the palm of your hands. No special apps to download. No subscription fees for live radio or Tiger TV streams. We say you can.
Now let's go over to the dollar, because the dollar is going to be the generator. It is the generator of basically higher dollar, lower market. And what the dollar has done, and this whole uptrend, folks, has just gone sideways. The way it works, folks, is this.
We say you can. The Tiger Financial News Network. Smart investors and professional traders know you can. TFNN.com. Educating investors. Nico and Paige take your phone calls now. Toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044.
That's right, folks. And pick up my Health Signals newsletter. I got issue 14 coming around in the corner, and 13 is out there. I don't know what number we're on, actually. 13 or 14, no, I know that. And number here is 877-927-6648, so give us a call, please. And, we're talking about liver cleanse.
Yeah, keeping a healthy, loving your liver. And guys, when I talk about liver, a lot of people immediately joke and they think you're talking about alcohol. Oh, I was really tough on my liver. The liver, again, is so much more than that. It helps protect us from toxic substances, and one of its most important functions is helping us to digest fats. And we talk.
There's enzymes.
Yeah, lipase. Lipase is the enzyme, but that's not produced by the liver. That's produced by the pancreas. But the liver secretes bile. And bile is stored in our gallbladder, but produced by our liver. That's one of the reasons why getting your gallbladder removed doesn't really solve the problems, but that's a whole other discussion. Yeah. But so what it does is our liver produces healthy bile, and what we don't want is what we call beef jerky bile. In other words, bile that's sluggish and not really moving. It doesn't do the function, and if we don't have that healthy bile running, we're not going to get rid of this extra fat to be able to work through.
Let alone that toxic material that's part of that bile, right? I mean, there's toxins that are staying in your liver. It slows it down, Your body's so busy doing that it doesn't have time for the regular maintenance, and there's a lot of things involved in that, isn't it?
Absolutely. And sometimes you might get some symptoms of that your liver is really tired, your energy levels drop, acne, eczema, psoriasis, bloating, headaches, red, itchy eyes. These can be signs that you have a toxic or sluggish liver, but by all means you can still have a toxic, sluggish liver without these signs. Our livers need help. They do a lot of work for us. So without the bile made by your liver, your body couldn't either, it can't digest the nutrients that it needs or expel the unnecessary matter. So we want to work on proper bile function so we can get the proper nutrients we need, and we can lose the weight we don't need, because much of the weight that we're holding on to is related to being unhealthy.
Now, there's a lot of foods, of course, that help that process.
Exactly. So these are some of the herbs and gentle cleansing foods that you want to add into your diet, or as you're looking at supplementation, you want to see if these are some of the ingredients you might see. So you may want to jot this down, so when you're looking for stuff, you'll look for these ingredients. Garlic.
Huge one.
Okay. Garlic's active ingredient is allicin, one of the best biofilm busters. And when I talk about biofilm, that means it helps break down bacteria and all these rogue bacteria put a shell on to protect from the immune system, and allicin goes in there and rips the cloak off, so your immune system goes, you're a bad guy. You're out of here.
Really? Just identifies it like that.
Exactly. So love it. Love it.
Okay.
Borer-tutu bark. I'm not familiar with borer-tutu bark. And that's weird, because this is kind of my passion. It's an herb that's been used for centuries to support the liver as well as gastrointestinal problems. Organic virgin apple cider vinegar. If any of you really want to get a little dissertation on apple cider vinegar, there's a website called J. Crow. I'll have to double check. It might be an E on the end of Crow. It could just be J. Crow. But this is an interesting site and talks a lot about Dr. Jarvis, the old Vermont doctor, and all what he taught about the power of apple cider vinegar. Apple cider vinegar is an acidic product that helps your body get alkaline response, very much like the lemon.
Way, right.
Love apple cider vinegar.
Yeah.
Hundreds of uses for apple cider vinegar. It's vitamins, minerals, and alkalinity restoring capability. It's wonderful for supporting our livers. Easy to add, very cheap. Milk thistle is an herb that's been used for over 2,000 years to help protect the liver from toxic substances. I have a formula that we may recommend a little bit too, that is a cinnamon milk thistle combination that I like. That's very protective. Helps lower blood sugar, which takes some stress off the liver. So that's a good combination.
And then we have things like grapefruit. They have any kind of leafy greens. The darker ones, the better.
Kale, spinach, collards.
Yeah. And then apples, of course, are great. And try to get the apples that are not as sweet.
Right. Organic apples is part of the dirty dozen. They can't be bought. You really just can't buy apples that are genetically modified or conventional. You need to buy an organic apple. Yeah. And beets and carrots. We have a saying called "beets beat the disease," and many times, the beet is just, the liver loves beets. Yeah.
Carrots originally were purple.
Well, so it gives us an idea of the color. We can learn a lot about the colors of foods and the organs that they support, but yeah, you're right.
Yeah, before we domesticated the carrot, it was actually a purple, and of course...
and there's the purple potato, too, so we wonder what's happened.
What's happened, we domesticated, and we do the same thing to animals. So.
You guys have heard us talk about the carrot salad we learned from Ray Peat. Ray Peat talks about using the carrot salad to bind endotoxins. So here we go, guys. Great foods.
Yep.
Chicory root.
That's always the way it is.
Chicory root and dandelion.
877-927-6648 is the phone number. Please give us a call. We're lonely here. Hey, we'll be right back.
Where is everybody?
With over 3 decades of commodity trading experience, Andy Hecht has developed a system that combines both technicals and fundamentals. He calls this approach Technomental, and now you can put it to work for yourself with his brand new service, the Technomental Commodity Report. In this weekly newsletter, which comes out each Thursday morning, Andy gives you his analysis of the market price direction bias using fundamentals, and then specific trade recommendations including entry and exit points using technicals. The recommendations in the newsletter are always based on stocks and ETFs, so a futures account is not required, and Andy will often use options in the recommendations as well. Andy will tell you where to get in, where to get out, and he'll outline the risk-reward profile for all recommendations. To get your month-long free trial to the Technomental Commodity Report by Andy Hecht while locking in the low introductory rate, visit the front page of TFNN.com today. Has the current market volatility continued to stop you out of trades when the market spikes against you? Now is the perfect time to open up an account with Nadex. Nadex, the North American Derivatives Exchange, is a brand new, completely regulated Chicago-based exchange, and unlike most other exchanges, Nadex allows you to trade directly through them with direct market access when using their completely free trading platform, which also features real-time charts and full customization capability. One of the advantages of trading with Nadex in volatile markets is that your risk is always capped and you have the ability of keeping your trades open even when the market spikes against you. Nadex is completely brand new with a line of unique trading products that are unavailable anywhere else. See how it works at nadex.com. That's NADEX.com. Or click on the Nadex banner on the front page of TFNN.com. Futures and options trading involves risk and may not be appropriate for all investors.
Recently, Basil Chapman has had some outstanding trades in his newsletter, The Opening Call. Each morning by 9 a.m., Basil uploads his newsletter to the TFNN servers so that his subscribers can access his expert trading advice. Basil gives his take on the direction of key indices and updates any active trades that his subscribers are currently in. Just recently, Basil's subscribers closed out a short position in Chipotle Mexican Grill, CMG, for more than an $86 profit per share, over a 20% gain in just one position. If you'd like to try out Basil Chapman's newsletter, The Opening Call, then visit the front page of TFNN.com and click Trading Newsletters. There you'll find Basil's newsletter, The Opening Call, where you can request a free sample copy. Also, don't miss Basil's program, The Tiger Technicians Hour, Monday through Friday, 11 a.m. Eastern, on TFNN.
With the stock market flirting with all-time highs and volatility back, now is the perfect time for a 2-week free trial to Market Insights. On Monday, June 24th, Tom O'Brien closed out all 5 open positions in his daily newsletter Market Insights, with all trades being profitable and ranging from a 2.23% gain all the way to more than an 11% gain in just one position for an incredible 32.7% profit combined between the 5 trades. Let Tom O'Brien's years of market experience work for you. If you'd like to see for yourself what kind of trading newsletter Tom O'Brien delivers to his clients each morning, then now is a perfect time to sign up for a 2-week free trial to his daily newsletter, Market Insights. In a volatile market like we currently have, the potential for fast market moves like we've seen recently is a trader's dream. So don't wait any longer. Sign up for your 2-week free trial to Market Insights today at the front page of TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by BackTech Environmental. For more information, just click the BackTech banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
Welcome back, folks. Nico and Paige on Living a Primal Lifestyle. The number here is 877-927-6648. Please join the conversation. One of the things that I scanned across was this article about we exercise a lot more in the United States than ever before.
But we're still gaining weight and have the obesity issue. Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, that really gives you a clue that, you know, when we're talking about losing weight, it's really talking about diet and not about exercise.
You know, we both, you know, obviously believe that exercise and moving is so important,
Huge.
but it really comes down to it. You know that old 80-20, 80% of the people drink, 80% of the people are drinking the beer or whatever at the party? Well, it's the same thing. I really think it's about the food.
It is the food.
And the exercise is important. I mean, no doubt, and we believe that. But it's
the food, and it's the hormones and what the food is actually doing to our body, so that we can't lose the weight. We're talking about the detox. That's all involved in it. I found this, and this is an interesting article, and I have Smithsonian Magazine here.
You impress me with all your sources.
Well, I like to read,
and
especially I like to read magazines and things like that.
You know what, guys? We just want to tell you how much we love doing this show. We hope you enjoy it as much as we enjoy being here, because both Nico and I are both just prolific readers. So I have to learn. If I think that there's something that I need to know and I don't learn and I get upset and I want to do it, and we just have so much fun sharing information.
Yeah, and remember, we're not doctors or anything, so we really can't prescribe things. We're trying to tell you what we've discovered and to lead you down the path.
We're sharing information. It's really up to you to decide. That's our whole point.
So this article, and they were doing an interview with the people who write the Gourmet magazine. I think they're out of San Francisco, I believe. Anyway, they're in this interview. They're talking about food and the food industry and how it parallels with the tobacco industry in a sense. It says it parallels obviously the tobacco companies. When they were exposed as lying about their products, that's when they really ran into problems. The line was, we're just competing with our open market share. We're not actually stimulating people to smoke or overeat. You don't spend millions of dollars on marketing if it's not working. And they understand that it's easier and more profitable to get a soda drinker or a smoker to double consumption than to create a new soda drinker. So the advertising really is skewed to the people who are already drinking sodas or drinking or eating fast food or smoking or whatever the thing is, rather than creating new ones, because it's much easier for somebody, if they're doing 8 ounces, they can do 12 or 16 or 24 or the big gulp or whatever. Pretty sinister, I say. So that's what's going on.
So that's what's happening. People, they're trying to stimulate the people that are already using products to eat more, drink more. And that's kind of what we learned in this article, too. Why are we exercising more and still gaining weight? Because we eat too much.
Yeah.
And that's what it really comes down to, guys, is that, I like to tell a lot of my clients, at home it's more difficult. Buy the smaller plate. The luncheon-sized plate? Use that as your plate, not the dinner plate.
Well, have you seen some of the grandmother's plates? I mean, the largest grandmother's plate is about the size of a dessert plate today.
The older china. You're right. Yeah, that's a good point.
And same with the little teacups. They were a lot smaller.
Everything was smaller, portion-wise.
And the people were smaller.
And the other thing, too, is a lot of people say to me, well, when I go out to dinner, I always order the 16-ounce steak because, hey, I can.
Yeah, cut it in half and save half of it.
Before you start eating it, ask for the to-go thing. Divide that thing. As far as I'm concerned, nobody needs to eat more than about 4 ounces. I don't care how big you are at a sitting.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's very true. I always get the smallest cut. And it's amazing, as you get into this primal lifestyle, start changing your diet, you're going to find that the protein that you eat is going to diminish. It's going to be smaller and smaller and smaller.
We need protein. It's so important for...
But we don't eat a lot of it.
We don't... Yeah, exactly. I mean, we need...
30% of your diet, maybe 35% is enough.
Right. And, we need the healthy grams of complete proteins, and that's the problem. We got a lot of people that are staying away from animal foods, and they're eating beans or something, but they're not eating maybe... the other things that make it a complete protein.
Yeah.
So,
well, if you're eating beans, the only way to make it a complete protein, first of all, you have to, of course, ferment them or soak them for a long time, but also mix them with the rice.
With the rice, yeah.
The rice makes it more of a complete protein. Still harder to digest. I mean, the easiest thing for us to digest is protein and fat.
And in their natural forms.
In their natural form. The next thing
eating what they're supposed to be eating.
And then the next thing would be the leafy little greens and herbs and things like that. And then the plants come into it. And then the hardest thing to digest, of course, as we've said many, many times, are your seed-based products.
So remember, keep your liver bile flowing free so that it can help you digest your food.
Yeah.
So you can be healthy.
So we're exercising more, and of course we know that exercising is an important thing, but how do you stay active when we're sitting in front of computers all day, and we've really locked into sitting down for long periods of time. And I know that when you're at your office and you're sitting for a while, what do you do?
Well, I have a bouncy ball.
Bouncy ball.
But I get up all the time. But that's what with this article that we're getting ready. Are we getting ready to cover that one about? Thinking about you guys, Tigers and Tigresses. Many of you are working on your portfolios. You're at your computer screen. This article that we came across really gave us some good insight into some tips for you, because what we're learning is it's not exercise. It's the working your force against gravity, is what the article said.
Yeah. Well, a growing body of evidence suggests that sitting in and of itself is an independent risk factor for poor health and premature death, even if you exercise regularly.
So the sitting in a static way is the issue.
Yeah, we talked before about squatting, how squatting is great. That's that's our natural sitting position, getting up and down off the ground. There's your exercise right there. You don't need to do a lot more than that for those legs. So if you're sitting a long time, you really need to stand up every 10 minutes or so, I would say.
Well, that's what this article suggests, and one of the tips is I think you guys can go to online and get an online-based alarm that maybe does some kind of pleasant little chirp or a little bell every 10 minutes that will encourage you to stand. It's the act of standing, the force against gravity, that is actually so
I think they should have one where you can just put your own voice in it and say, "Get off your butt."
Yeah, get off your yeah, exactly. Stand up. So, and it was interesting. They said it's not it's not doing it 32 times in an hour or something. It's the fact that you do it throughout the day.
I agree.
The standing. Now, and then the tip is, okay, why don't you stand, stretch, reach, do a couple squats that and utilize that time. So when we say, maybe you're busy and you don't have the time to go to the gym or exercise. Well, of course, we want you to work that interval training in. Remember, that doesn't take a lot of your time, 20 minutes. Yeah. But throughout your day, because we're going to do it. We're doing it. Take the time to set an alarm. You can do it on your iPhone. You can set a snooze alarm and set it to go off every 10 minutes. And every time you hear it, it's your key to get up. And going to the restroom or going to get something to drink or eat counts.
Or you can also alternate your office by raising it up, and you can stand.
There's a lot of people that are actually changing, and they're getting tall desktops so that they're actually standing. So standing is more healthful, guys, than sitting.
Good time to change things. Get a new desk. Instead of using a chair, the exercise ball is a wonderful thing.
Because it causes you to use your core at all times, so you're using your core in balance.
And it actually makes you move a little bit if you want to. It's much easier to move on that than a chair.
Or a straight wooden chair without armrests, because armrests we tend to slouch into. You tend to sit more straight in a straight chair.
Yeah. It says here, to build more activity into your day, consider walking across the hall, talking to a coworker instead of sending an email.
Sneaker net.
Taking the stairs instead of the elevator.
Isn't that what it was called? Yeah. Sneaker net. Actually run with your sneakers instead of sending an email.
Sneaker net.
And is that kind of dating?
Yeah, maybe.
Sneaker net.
I've never heard of it. So
instead of sending a message through email, you sneaker, you run. You use your sneakers.
Cool.
Okay.
Of course, another tip is if it's if you're going someplace for lunch and it's less than a mile away, you can walk.
Yeah.
It'll take you 6 minutes to get there and 6 minutes back, and you got plenty of time in your hour.
Well, I was going to tell you that when you go to Europe, you notice that so many people go into little town squares to eat, and one of the reasons you see a marked difference in the physiques of Europeans, I believe, although that's changing as a result of companies like McDonald's and so forth.
Yeah.
But they actually walk, and they walk to dinner, and then they walk home.
Yeah. So that's just really one of the things that you can do to kind of change your lifestyle a little bit. But there's a lot of other things, and I was reading a blog by Mark Sesson for Mark's Daily Apple. He mentions some really good things, and one of them is, in your water, add a little dash of sea salt or mineral drops.
If you're my client, that's
the first thing you tell them.
That's the first thing, I often tell people a little bit, and it's a little bit of shock value. I kind of enjoy it. I say salt's good for you, but we have to clarify what kind of salt. Table salt, a little Morton Girl, you can use that as a cleansing product. You can add it to stuff to clean your toilet and everything, but you don't ever want to eat that.
Right.
And I have these little travel salt shakers that I give people.
Yeah?
Yep. And
have Himalayan salt in it?
Yeah, let me just see if I got one handy. Well, maybe I'll find it if we have a break. But anyways.
The other thing he says, take better baths. Modern water is so different from our ancestral water, so there's ways that you can change that by adding your different mineral salts and things like that to...
This is a really important thing. It's one of my main things. I was going to tell you, we're going to be putting up more about this, but Epsom salts, we don't have enough magnesium. And Himalayan salt to your tub, it adds a nice salt.
Yeah.
Baking
if you're sore
soda.
from exercise, too, the Epsom salt helps. Another thing you can do is throw a whole big bottle of hydrogen peroxide in there.
That
helps take the aches and pains away also.
We've got someone on the phone.
Oh, cool.
Okay, Nick from Oklahoma.
Oh, man.
Detox programs. How you doing, Nick?
Thank you. Doing just fine. How are you guys?
We're doing great. Happy Friday to you, Nick.
Oh, fantastic topic. Everything is of interest. However, I have a question maybe a little bit too detailed about detox.
Okay.
You mentioned. Is there any source or are there any articles to show or just to see if it was studied on the large group of individuals to show that it was truly beneficial? It's not just like placebo type of effect.
You know, I'll tell you a great site. We may actually have him on the show. Is Sayer G's, I hope I'm saying his name right, Green Med Info. And that website is GREEN Med, MED, info.com. He has composed the largest database of evidence-based research. What he's basically done is combed PubMed, you know, the medical research sites, and really pulled out a lot of the natural medicine studies. So that would be a great place for us to start. And they're actually so helpful. You could probably email them and say, can you help me? I'm trying to look for information on that.
Yeah, of course, if you email me, Nico at TFNN.com or Paige at TFNN.com, we will send you some links to that fact.
And Nick, if you want to, you know, have a discussion, remember, as a tiger or a tigress, if you want to call Nico or I, we will, you know, we can have some free consult time with you to start.
You guys are just really amazing. And second question was about that acidity and kind of alkalinity of the body pH that sometimes you can stimulate using vinegar. Do you also believe that meat-based diets generally shift body's pH towards acidic?
Sure. They can. Now, remember that if your animals are eating their own natural food, the acidity goes way down. So where you might have a real acidic cow, if you're eating grass, that acidity will balance itself a lot more. What is really acidic, however, your highest acidic comes from grains.
Okay, so grains are the main source of acid?
Yeah, well, if you just think about it, eating meat and grains, now you have a double acid base there. So if you eliminate the grains, then you've got the one healthy acid base of the meat, and now your vegetables and those things are going to balance out your alkalinity.
Well, that's, something to learn and to try.
Sure.
I really appreciate that, and you guys have a great weekend.
Well, thanks so much for calling, Nick. Take care.
Okay.
Good call.
Yeah. So we're kind of going over some of these things to help primalize your life, getting into daily routines of things that, you know, we talked about the baths. You know, a bath can be a great time to remineralize the body. And we want to talk about working on mobility during your oral hygiene. You know, we've talked about brushing our teeth. How many of us just stand there looking in the mirror?
Pulling?
Or oil pulling, yeah, exactly. Remember, we've talked about our flossing. Of course, you know that's important. You know, use that as the time to do some stretching, some squatting. Take advantage of these small amount of times. And what we've learned today, that standing and that using that core strength and that resistance against gravity is what's beneficial.
Yeah, doing 15 or 20 squats in the morning is a huge beneficial factor to your mobility.
Yeah, if you do them every time you brush your teeth, which you should brush your teeth 2 or 3 times a day. So once you get in a routine of doing these things, I mean, it just comes natural. I like some of these things that he says. I like this one.
This is camping outside in your backyard. Now, we're not going to do that in Florida right now, but in the wintertime, I would be doing that.
Because why are we doing that? We're connecting to the magnetic core of the Earth, and what a great idea!
They're going to love it.
Yeah.
Exactly.
But, you know, in the short term, if you can't camp out in your backyard, make sure you get out in your backyard and put your feet in the ground, and that's earthing. You can Google earthing.
Yeah. And we got things like sweeping instead of vacuuming, making a sauce or a smoothie, and when you do that, add some egg yolks to it. Eat your dinner on the ground. Go outside and eat, and take the stairs. So there's a lot of things, crawling around the house and keeping different weights around, so there's plenty of things. Anyway, we're going to be back in a couple of minutes. The number here is 727-445-1044 or 877-927-6648. Got it in.
You did good.
Tom O'Brien's weekly newsletter, The Gold Report, has helped subscribers for over 10 years navigate the high-risk world of exploring and producing gold companies. And now's a great time to sign up for a free month-long trial to see the kind of insight that Tom delivers for his subscribers on a weekly basis. Every Monday, Tom O'Brien issues a quick update on the metal market, giving you his take on the HUI, XAU, GLD, dollar, bonds, and much more. Tom follows Monday's update with a full gold report, which is delivered to subscribers Tuesday afternoon with detailed coverage of 24 separate gold or metal stocks, as well as another 10 to 15 stocks that he lets you know are on his potential watch list. Get your month-long free trial to the Gold Report today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Don't spend another year navigating the metal markets on your own. Act early in 2013 and make the most of your gold and metal market investments.
With the launch of Tiger TV, TFNN has brought our programming to the next level. With Tiger TV, you can gain access to each host's charts and computer screens as they host their daily stock program. Whether it's Tom O'Brien, Steve Rhodes, Basil Chapman, David White, Larry Pezzamento, Andy Hecht, Victor Jones, or Terrell Martin, you can catch all of our technicians hosting their programs live and archived on Tiger TV for your viewing pleasure 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. If you haven't checked out Tiger TV, then visit TFNN.com and see what you're missing.
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den, but wondered, what exactly is it? The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of your favorite TFNN shows, plus see all the charts as they happen, live during those shows, and have access to all those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den, absolutely free, for 30 days. It will greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
Are you looking for a precision edge in the market? Something that can stack the odds in your favor? Then look into Larry Pezzamento's trading newsletter.
Patterns, profits, and peace of mind.
In each weekly issue, Larry explains what's going to happen in the markets based on the pattern he sees developing and gives you actionable trade ideas based on those patterns. Plus, you'll get his detailed analysis on a variety of markets and sectors, including stocks, treasury bonds, the gold market, oil, the dollar, the Forex market, and more. You'll get access to all the patterns Larry is seeing in the markets, plus the Astro Harmonics and powerful Bradley stock market model that Larry utilizes for less than $5 a day. An extremely potent combination that will give you the edge you've been looking for. Try Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind absolutely free for 2 full weeks. That's an $85 value. Yours free when you register right now.
Get Larry's Patterns, Profits, and Peace of Mind.
And get the edge you've been looking for.
This segment is brought to you by TFNN. Test drive all the newsletters for free at TFNN.com.
Welcome back, Tigers and Tigresses. You're with Nico and Paige, and we're living a primal lifestyle, and we're learning how to do it. I think many of you may realize last week I spoke a little bit about circadian rhythm and how the stress response and all of our organs and glands are correlated to different time zones. That's kind of ancient knowledge. And here Nico found an article that kind of talks about the importance of our chronobiology or circadian rhythm.
Yeah, this is an author, that's David Randall. He has a book called Dreamland, and it's kind of an informative book. It really talks about these rhythms, and these rhythms are governed by parts of the body's brain, the pineal gland.
And the meridian system.
Yeah, it knows to release melatonin throughout the body after it's dark. Mm-hmm. Of course, we have an artificial light factor in there these days. But, after it's dark, there's a certain number of hours that it goes through. However, during puberty, This shifts by several hours, making it biologically much harder for teenagers to go to sleep and get up at the normal times that we normally would.
So don't yell at your teens. Let them, understand they're not going to be tired for 3 hours after you are, and they need to sleep later. And then yet we've got these school systems where we get our kids to start high school at 7 a.m.
He talks about the whole thing. Teenagers in the past were expected to spend part of their days in the classroom and then either work after school or complete the round of chores on the farm. To fit that in, school started as early as 7 a.m., which the teenager is, and certainly I was as a teenager. I loved to sleep in, and one day it kind of started changing, and now I love getting up early.
Exactly.
So I can really feel what this guy is talking about.
So it kind of goes to the same point. We need to start respecting that we have a natural circadian rhythm, a natural chronobiology that we need to follow. And many of you may know that's how I help my clients balance their hormones without hormones, because they learn to understand their own chronobiology.
Here's a study. Allowing children to get additional sleep may help solve the problem of school bullying as well. In 2011, University of Michigan study tracked nearly 350 elementary school children. About a third of the students regularly bullied their classmates. Researchers found that children with behavioral issues were twice as likely to have excess daytime sleeplessness, or to snore, or to have 2 symptoms of persistent sleep disorder as a result of getting up too early or not staying up as late as they wanted to.
You guys, sleep is so important, and respecting when we're supposed to be sleeping, when we're supposed to be awake. So
it would be much more natural if a school got together and said, hey, let's look at this, and maybe starting school a little bit
10
later.
to 6.
Or maybe...
Or something like that.
Or having some kind of program that can wake up these kids naturally rather than forcing them to wake up, and then their parents telling them, well, it's 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock, it's time to go to bed, kids, when they're... Hey, I'm wide awake.
Yeah, I've gotten much more relaxed about that.
Yeah.
I have a teenager, and I kind of respect his sleep cycle. And
we're learning so much more. These videos I'm watching has a lot to do with the behavior and talking about these types of things that our kids can learn a lot easier if they teach themselves, if they're guided instead of taught, because the space between the teenager and the adult is so great that there's not a lot of respect. They respect, if you're 12, you respect the 12, 13, 14, 15, 16-year-old, maybe even an 18-year-old, but they don't respect anybody over 21.
And you're referring to the Ancestral Foundation videos?
Yes, I am.
I hope every one of you need to go and subscribe to the newsletter. The last edition that just came out has links to 40 different videos at the Ancestral Foundation. This is all critical information that Nico has made it really easy for you to just click a button and see all 40 instead of trying to chase them down on YouTube.
Yep,
so,
that's for sure.
Good stuff.
Hey, we're out of time. Hey, Nick from Oklahoma, thanks so much for calling. We really appreciate it. And folks, I hope you have a great weekend until next Friday. And we got some really good guests coming up in the next few weeks, so stick around.
See you next time.
See ya.
Nowhere, spelled N-O-W-H-E-R-E. At one point, we've all been there, whether it be our health, career, or our finances. Some might be there right now. So where are you when it comes to your trading and investing? Better yet, where would you like to be? The good news, I can take you from nowhere to now, here, right now. Same letters, N-O-W-H-E-R-E, just a totally different emphasis and focus. Hi, I'm Steve Rhodes with TFNN, and on July 25th at 6:30 p.m., I'm going to share with you a trading strategy that I began on May 10th when the S&P was at 1627 and closed at the same price 8 weeks later. That's right, the S&P went nowhere versus a trading strategy that produced a 100% hypothetical return in that same period of time, and it's now here for you. Subscribers to my daily newsletter service, Mastering Probability, have free access to this exciting live workshop. The trend is your friend. All the details are on the homepage of TFNN.com. Decisions shape your destiny, and your trading destiny is now here for you.